What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Global Speedrun Association. And now with our Super Mario Odyssey any percent race, today with a matchup between LilKirbs14 and swiftzeii. And I'm joined by Cheese James with a co-commentary. What's up?
Hello, everyone.
Yo, how are you feeling? I think this is going to be a
Good.
pretty interesting race as always. Obviously, we got a little bit of a PB discrepancy here. Curbs, one of the top boys, but swiftzeii definitely being up there. His early game is actually really, really good. I've watched him before, and his
Yeah.
early game is on a pretty high level.
Yeah, and in like I said yesterday, I was coming to a race yesterday, and I said just because you have a good PB does not mean you're gonna have a good race. We
Oh
had
no.
Equan, the world record holder, yesterday racing, and he died and ruined 3 times trying to show off, and then fell on of a mech as well. So
Yeah.
PBs don't mean anything in races.
Yeah, Equan definitely pretty interesting mindset when it comes to these races, but yeah, as you said, racing is a different, like, requires a different skill set from running. Obviously, running will help you, but at the end of the day, this is a race. You can't just reset, and you still got to do your best, depending, like, no matter how the run actually is going. And before we get into the action here, which we are going to get this underway as soon as possible, I just quickly want to bring up our sponsor YGG, making this entire tournament happen. If you do want to check them out, do so using the !bet command or the referral link that you can find in the panel below. Obviously, make sure that betting is legal in the country you're currently in and you have reached the age that is required to actually do these bets. But other than that, shout outs to them, and I think we are going to have a pretty exciting race here.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I think this is going to be a very close race.
So once again, swiftzeii actually, as far as I know, pretty confident when it comes to these early stages, especially. Definitely very solid early game. Curbs, however, is actually probably has one of the best mid and late games out of the top runners. Like, just yesterday, we were obviously looking at the best theoretical time video, and Curbs actually having a lot of these segments in Lunch and Bowser's. These are like these segments where he's actually really good at.
Yeah, I just watched the best theoretical time video today on stream.
Yep. Pretty crazy stuff. But Curbs, once again, obviously top runner. Actually, Curbs was on a run, like, that was probably like a month ago now. That was like on a pace that would have been even better than the current world record, like leaving Seaside at one point. This was the run where he then ended up losing like 30 seconds in Luncheon, but it was one of the craziest. It was always incredibly high.
Yeah, that's crazy. Looks like both runners are going to the starting screen now, and the race will be beginning.
Looks just like it. And once again, I actually can't recall completely, but I'm pretty sure that swiftzeii does have a 103. It should be one of the higher, as far as I remember.
Yeah, swiftzeii PB is a 103.41, and LilKirbs having, let me find it, a 101.01.
101.01. Well,
Yeah.
he is due for a 100 time, so we might be able to witness that today. And even if not, he's definitely going to try to perform as good as he can, because with these events that you brought up earlier, like Equan losing to Orolme yesterday, that is actually stacking up that loser's bracket. You surely don't want to land down there, because obviously these matches, they're just going to be crazy hard.
I agree. Anyone going up against a world record holder could definitely get nervous because of that. That's definitely not an easy race to go against.
And then, even though there obviously is only one record holder, Chaos Pringle obviously also in this tournament, surely being able to basically at least tie Equan's performances. So a lot of talent into this. But now we are off with swiftzeii versus LilKirbs, starting in cap as usual.
Indeed, Cap not being too difficult of a kingdom, just serving as the tutorial kingdom for many players.
I do think that both of these guys should be fairly familiar with this place once again. Brought up that earlier that swiftzeii is definitely very specialized on these early game kingdoms. When I was watching his stream, he is actually resetting a lot there and really holding himself up to a high standard when it comes to the completion of these kingdoms. But obviously in cap, as you brought up, there's not too much that can go wrong. Missing left side can be quite like a detrimental time loss, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Like I said, this game not being too difficult at all. There are some optimizations you can go for, and both these runners are going to be coming to a trick right now where they're going to be going to first-person mode to skip the panning sequence of this cutscene, saving about a second, I believe.
Almost, and it's actually quite interesting. Curbs also taking a more optimal line. They're using that triple jump strategy against swiftzeii doing these double dives, and both of them still going for the spin pond in this room, which is fairly hard to actually save time with, but Curbs just making this a little bit cleaner.
Indeed, but these are both very clean caps from both runners here.
Looks like swiftzeii actually might have made up just a tiny bit of time. There were some better vectors because it looked like Curbs was a little bit further ahead. However, this is what it's going to come down to, because if you do miss this trick, it doesn't matter how well you do the early sections, and looks like both runners get it here actually just nicely.
And now we're moving on to the top of our fight. Pretty much just going to knock off the hats on him, jump on his hat, and then knock off the hats on the front face and kill him, and it looks like swiftzeii actually messing that up. Very unfortunate.
swiftzeii not getting the dive spin pound strat, which is definitely around half a second faster. Curbs getting that to work very nicely, and swiftzeii losing quite a big amount of time here. Topper is one of the bigger time losses you can get in this kingdom, like an unoptimal topper.
Yeah. Taking damage on him or messing up anything on him can definitely lose upwards of a couple seconds, which is a lot for the Cap Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And Curbs actually ending with a pretty high 121, which is absolutely amazing. swiftzeii coming in with the 25, mostly due to the topper fight. And now let's look at Cascade Kingdom. Obviously, first Moonskip being the first thing on the table here, and I'm pretty sure that both of these runners will be opting for the water first Moonskip version.
Yeah, both runners going in the water for wet FMS, and it looks like LilKirbs opting for the wall jump strategy. It looks like swiftzeii is opting for the wall jump strategy.
Bonking though, and not making that work on his first attempt, and swiftzeii taking lead off of that. Bonks, especially in these higher places, lose a big amount of time, and swiftzeii making it work, coming out on capturing the dino.
Yeah, both these are just almost synced right now, within like a second or two of each other.
Curbs with a very nice thread there as far as capturing the chain Chompkins, which actually is the official name of the golden chain jump. Using these spin throw roll cancels to hit the guy just a little bit earlier. Let's see if he's actually going to be able to save a visible amount of time in this fight. However, swiftzeii not making a mistake, he's still getting the hit, but actually that's very visible how much cleaner Curbs' fight there was there, because swiftzeii was surely coming into this fight a little bit more ahead than he is now.
Yeah. Definitely a clean fight from Curbs. No, both runners. Oh, sorry.
No, don't worry. I was just about to bring up that these are the little things in these early kingdoms that actually pay off in the long run. Another thing that we will be seeing here shortly is obviously the chest clip. And depending on who of the two does it better, Curbs might end up being ahead after Cascade without both of them making a major mistake.
Yep, just need to grab the moon on the cliff side and then do chest clip, and then we can be out of this kingdom.
swiftzeii actually taking a pretty interesting angle, going fairly far to the right. Still looked fast, not what I usually see. And now we will look at chest clip here. swiftzeii taking just a little bit of time, and Curbs actually playing that one a little bit quicker.
And Curbs not missing it.
Clip. That's obviously quite big. It's obviously not the end of anything. We are talking Cascade cap, which the time losses here don't decide anything. But still, swiftzeii probably ending this with like a 3-second lead.
And LilKirbs having a good backup for missing chest clips, so it did not affect him poorly at all.
Yeah, this is, we can be lucky that this is not a nut clip type situation, where if you do miss the moon clip, suddenly you are locked off of actually doing the route. It's just that you have to basically go around with a little bit of slower movement. Yeah,
and sometimes, like in a race earlier, there was someone that managed to get the first out of bounds moon and then wasn't able to get the second. He had to completely change his route.
Yep. then stuff gets really weird. Usually you would skip like the nut on the dead end or something, but let's not hope that both of these will have to deal with this. Obviously, would it being on every racer's mind in every race, because it's just so scary and so many things can potentially go wrong. But for now, we will be focusing on sand, which is once again one of these very mechanically intensive stages, super hard movement, super refined strats. So let's see who comes out on top.
Indeed. And are both these runners on 1.0? Yeah, they are, because they did FMS. So we're going to be seeing some Sphinx Clip action.
Yeah, fairly sure. Not completely sure if swiftzeii is going to be opting for that double clip. Curbs at this point might go for it. I still do think that Sphinx Clip is in most cases the best option for races, because you lose 3 seconds over the double clip, but it's just so much easier to get a good one. But yeah. Curbs with some very nice spin pounds there in this room.
Sphinx Clip being a very hard trick, and doing it twice just adds even more to that difficulty.
Absolutely. Everybody who has done Sphinx and just knows the pain that can occasionally happen to you if you have like an off day, because I do feel like, especially with these roll cancel clips, sometimes on some days they just don't work for you, and this is where definitely single clip comes in handy.
Yeah.
swiftzeii going for that side flip, showing some very optimistic. Curbs actually doing the same. One of the few people here that actually started doing that side flip on that ice pillar, which is just a little bit more optimal.
Yeah, saving just a little bit of time. Both runners going for Drum now. Drum being shot, we do a long jump into an up throw, and then you home into the bullet bill right before you collect the moon, and you're being able to warp to the top here and go on your way to the pillar.
So Curbs actually playing that section just a tiny bit cleaner, just off of him not doing the additional cap throw when climbing up there. So he's just climbing, he's just basically sneaking in behind swiftzeii. swiftzeii still keeping onto his lead, but Sphinx is the section now where it most likely can change or even increase. swiftzeii though, missing that spin pound.
Yeah, losing just a little bit of time, giving Curbs just that little bit of advantage going into Sphinx.
Almost a live comparison here. Sphinx Flip will be pretty detrimental, and swiftzeii getting it first try. But now we will see a comparison between single clip and double clip. That will only really pay off if Curbs does get the second clip first try. But if he does, he's going to be ahead.
Yeah. Let's see if he can get it here.
Wow.
It's the second clip first try. Very impressive from both runners here.
And now we will actually basically see live how much better double clip is. We do see Curbs being just a tiny bit ahead here already if he does get this movement. And basically pretty much actually tight here, capturing the ball. But swiftzeii unfortunately missing the capture there. They would have been tight. Yeah. Curbs probably only saving around like 1.5 or 2 seconds with that double clip, but still just a little bit faster.
Yeah, and I can attest, taking damage for a bullet bill or messing up a bullet bill here is very easy. You definitely have to play this a little bit careful.
And then in his case, it was even a bigger time loss, because obviously he missed the cycle of the bullet bill. He also got damaged, which means he did get refilled there from the moon, basically losing him 2 seconds off of the moon health refill animation.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the bird cycle for him though. Here at the end.
Yeah, for swiftzeii he should be very safe, because he's actually doing the single clip version. So there's he should be pretty safe. Usually it's very easy to get the bird there. We'll see though how this is gonna pay out for Curbs. Curbs getting a very nice bird cycle. For swiftzeii, looks like he's gonna be actually having a pretty nice one as well.
Yeah. And it looks like LilKirbs is going for notes now. Notes being a very difficult strat where you have to do optimally one spin throw, but most runners try to end up doing 2, but he almost got one spin throw there.
Yeah. Not the, obviously, almost not a deal at all to not get this like the notes there with one spin. swiftzeii definitely having a little bit more of an issue with these notes, but it's almost impossible, like if you actually try to miss notes. It's just depending on how fast you do them, and Curbs just missing that spin throw at the very end. But other than that, pretty decent sand here, pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely solid from both runners. Still, both runners are still very close here coming out of the third kingdom.
We are going to be heading into Lake, though I am pretty sure that LilKirbs has not been messing too much with the Lake clip. I actually haven't seen him do it, so this is something we are probably going to be skipping in this race. Did I say Moon clip? I obviously meant Lake clip, which is another clip. Yeah, so many clips in this game. where you basically corner clip into a wall to collect different fast moons instead of fighting the boss.
Indeed, like clip saving about 5 seconds, I believe, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. If you do get everything nicely, those 5 seconds also being pretty interesting time save because they are kind of spread over kingdoms. Because if we do warp here in Lake, which the warp is part of the route, there's going to be this little cappy text showing up as soon as you open the map, which would usually happen in Metro. But if you do the Lake Clip route, you save like 3.5 seconds here, and then you save like 1.5 seconds in Metro off of not having that text.
Okay, we'll see if LilKirbs chooses to go for late clip here. We'll see right after he grabs this moon.
Yeah, I personally probably doubt it. Once again, haven't seen him do this too much. He's not gonna mess with it. Just go straight to the old route, and he's gonna be fighting Rango here instead. swiftzeii probably gonna be doing the same.
Yeah, late clip being very difficult, and it's very safe just to skip it for races.
For sure. I do want to bring up though that the Rango fight itself is actually something that hasn't even been fully, like there's some fast threads in that fight that people haven't fully implemented. You can actually do like a spin pound at the start, but to be fair, at this point in time it is probably not even worth optimizing this fight more, because in the future he is just not going to be a thing anymore for like the top level of play.
Yeah, since late clip it does save time over the boss.
Yeah, it saves so much that you can't optimize that boss that much to be faster than the late clip route, so yeah. Oh, swiftzeii actually diving into the wrong direction, is still being able to capture the cheap. Is he gonna make that work? Wall jump it, playing it safe, fighting the boss now.
Yeah, very unfortunately got dived the wrong way there.
Definitely not the end of the world, but falling back down, having to recapture the cheap into a wall jump there.
Yeah, it's
definitely
very
not optimal.
It was very lucky that the cheap didn't despawn there.
Yeah. You can make it up there without a cheap, but then he would have needed to go back, and it would have been even slower. But Curbs, pretty solid lake, pretty mistakeless. If you do not go for the lake clip route, there's not too many things that can go horribly wrong. But you still want to play clean enough to make that lake work.
Now, both runners moving on to Wooded, which I would argue is the most difficult kingdom in the run, with how many hard tricks are in there.
Yeah, it's definitely it's debatable. I guess it's not really debatable. I would just say that Wooded and Luncheon are both incredibly hard, but both of them have like different things they demand off of you. Obviously, Wooded demanding the nut clip route of you having the confidence to go for these hard and risky jumps above like the death planes. Luncheon, incredibly hard jumps and movements as well, and like weird structures of the kingdom where you need to make tight dives and tight cap dives. But for races, it's not really arguable. Wood is just the most risky and scary kingdom, because mistakes there, especially during the nut clip route or after, if you die and go back to the shop, are huge and probably race deciding in many cases.
Indeed. So let's hopefully both runners do not mess up nut clip at all if they choose to go for it.
Yeah. We will be seeing Curbs get the shop. We're probably going to be using that first person strat. He's one of the few people that does that very ultimately, almost doesn't get any camera pan. swiftzeii just starting off, missing that bunny, reacting well to, because if you do miss the bunny, it's best to just get that moon first and then try to long jump to hit that bunny on the way back.
Oh no, this is a very unfortunate rabbit for swiftzeii here. Not able to catch it at all.
This bunny is trying to juke him here. He gets him at the very end, but let's see if Curbs can make that nut clip work. Backflip, cap 4 looks like a solid position to me, and he is going to clip through the wall. But let's look at his out of bounds. He almost, whoa.
I thought he was
actually almost. Yeah.
I definitely thought he was in bounds, so that scared me.
Yeah, that camera was kind of tricky. They're almost showing him on the other side of that wall, but he was still able to be in the out of bounds section, clipping back into bounds now, and he's going to be making his way to the next moon here.
Oh, getting an unfortunate ledge grab there. Let's see if swiftzeii can make this work for him.
I'm not sure if I'm liking this.
Ooh, he's got it.
He still got it. He still got it to work. He is taking his time here with the out of bounds move, and he shows us why. Because if you do make a mistake, it's easy to fall all the way down. Let's see if he can get that move. It looks nice. As long as he makes it back into the inbounds, he will be fine. It looks like he gets it.
Yeah. No clip working for both runners here, not suffering any major time loss.
Perhaps also going for that optimal roll cancel there out of maze. Definitely not too optimal taking damage on the poison there. Also not the end of the world. He is still keeping a very comfy lead that he definitely wants to keep. But as the geography of this kingdom goes, these guys are not too far apart from each other, around the same section in the kingdom. Obviously, Curbs definitely still keeping around a 30-second lead at this point, even I'd say. But with what all we have on the table, this doesn't mean much.
Yeah, he can definitely even in this kingdom, he can still lose all that if he dies on FRS here.
Yeah, for sure. This jump has been in the route for a long time, but we still do occasionally see people having problems with it. But Curbs not being one of them in this race and making that work just nicely.
Now I'm interested to see if either of the runners are going to go for the spirit skip here at the end of the route. That being where you jump down from the top of the spirit platform and get the nut around the corner in the fast pipes moves.
I'm almost betting on the fact that Curbs is going to be going for that spirit skip, because these top runners, like when we were looking at this, it already saved like 2 or 3 seconds, but these days the way that these top runners do that, they probably save like 4 to 5 seconds like every time they do it right over fighting the boss. Definitely nice time save.
Okay, yeah, looks like Curbs is going for the spirit skip. Hopefully he doesn't get stunned here and he's able to buffer the jump just like that. Perfect, jumping over the deep woods and getting the nut around the corner right now.
And swiftzeii, unfortunately, not making it over there. He's actually going to be taking a bong, it looks like, so he will be needing to redo the flower road skip if he is actually going to be able to do it. Get some momentum here. Can he make it over? Looks like he is going to be able to make it over. He did already get the tower moon, but just bonking at the very end there. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. Very big time loss as well.
Curbs definitely feeling, wow, swiftzeii getting stuck there at the edge of the block. But yeah, Curbs making that wooded work out in his favor. His pace here is actually looking very, very nice. If you look at this, it's still going to be like an 18-4x, which is definitely still very nice pace. Probably not the hottest PB pace he could wish for, but still very solid.
Yeah, he's not had any major mistakes yet in his run.
Yeah. And swiftzeii also going for that spirit skip here, not messing with this boss fight as well. He is fairly short. He's not short on coins. Like 70 is easily enough to get back up to 100. No, but he's not going to get access to these coins in the boss fight. So let's see if he's aware of that. Because if you do die and lost or something, suddenly these coins can be hard to actually get back to 100.
Yeah,
because you do need 100 in snow. If you guys haven't seen the full run of this yet, we do buy a moon in Snow Kingdom, so we need 100 at that.
Although if you don't have 100, you can do some sort of backup to make it work. You can opt to do the Ranger Room and then Snow Jam and still make it out of there with enough names.
Yeah, it's not like the run is completely over or like that. It's just you are definitely going to be losing some time, and you are basically forced to do Snow Jam, which is even worse for some people, because if you are not good at it and just you usually get like shop and the Ranger Room, things get really awkward then. But for now, Curbs not having major issues with the Bowser here in this phase. Getting him knocked out, second phase. About to get the last one in.
Let's see who's able to get this. Gets the instant hat capture and killing Bowser right here. No problem from this dodge from him.
Easy Cloud for LilKirbs here. With Lost coming up next though, it is definitely worth to look into this kingdom because even though Wooded is already scary, Lost, while not having time losses that can potentially be over a minute, really, has a lot of time saves that can also be detrimental, like dying basically in every jump because there's this insta-killing poison on the floor, and also obviously unintendedly getting attacked by Klepto and him stealing Mario's head. So that's something we avoid by going all the way around him, but if you do fall at some point, he can suddenly...
Yeah, you do not want to have to activate Klepto here, as it activates his cutscene as well, and that being a very big time loss.
Very nice threat there for Curbs. Instantly attacking the butterfly. Also going for the roll cancel. Wow, that was actually crazy fast. Skipping that dive entirely.
Curbs pulling out all the straps right now, trying to go for everything he possibly can.
Okay, that was unintended though. The spin for that, definitely not what you wanted. swiftzeii actually having some issues here on that third phase. Still able to get in there. And Curbs not getting the spin from there, but not falling into the poison, which is the one thing he definitely wanted to avoid. So as long as he doesn't fall at the very ending section here, he should be fine. Obviously still, the triple jump, the Capulus triple jump, or so-called cage triple jump, between him and the finishing of this kingdom. That's gonna come up right now.
He's able. Ooh, having some trouble with the torpedo there. Choose not to go for it at all.
Smart. Like, he immediately knew once he messed that up that he wasn't going to be able to like keep his momentum to get over to the cage. So smart decision to just wait, play it safe, probably lose around a second, but don't die, which is definitely the better choice.
Yeah, dying here being very, very bad.
But Curbs making it work, no death, no big time loss here. Pretty hot strats there, especially at the very start of the kingdom, but keeping his lead through Lost. And now he is going to be heading over towards Metro Kingdom. It's still going to be nighttime there as we try to defend the city from the might of the Mecha Wiggler trying to steal the power, which is actually something that we kind of like forget as far as the speedrun goes because we played it. But yeah, this is scary. New York City is in danger, and Mario needs to save us.
Yes, this Mecha Wiggler fight definitely being one of the more scary parts of the run, because you want to try to kill it in 2 cycles. If you kill it in 3, you're going to be losing upwards of 20 seconds, I believe.
Yeah. Depending on how well you react to his patterns, the time loss can be worse or better. I guess it's never good because getting a 3 cycle is always a big loss.
Something we hope not to see in this race.
Let's try to avoid that. And now, he's making his way over to the city hall, already being done with that outside movement of the town, which is a little bit harder than the rest of the night part of the kingdom. Day Metro, in my opinion, arguably the harder part of New Donk City or Metro Kingdom. But Night Metro, especially in that city hall that Curbs is going through right now, a mistake there is very costly. Falling down all the way, you can just imagine how much time that loses.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. Let's see if we can make this long jump over the city hall here, making it look easy.
It doesn't seem to be a problem for Curbs anymore. This jump is something we figured out a long time ago. However, it is still possible to fall there. This is not like everything suddenly gets free. Sometimes you miss an input. Sometimes you just forget what to do for a little second, and then suddenly things go south. But Curbs not having one of these days and getting a very nice first phase of Wiggler there.
Oh my, swiftzeii dying here on before the Girder Moon.
That probably happens to me like 600 times in my life. I mean, that's obviously an over-exaggeration, but the thing is, this jump in particular If you want to go for the fast strat there, which is you basically want to jump up and then dive and then do another dive into triple jump. Let's see if he's actually going for it again. He is going for it again. And we see it here again. It's very hard to actually consistently get this triple jump. That made me change my strat there from going like from the dive to just rolling, which is almost as fast, but I kind of want to like tell this to him. But Curbs on the other screen getting a pretty nice 2-cycle.
Yeah. Hopefully they can get this game here.
To be honest though, that race between Equan and Revolver is probably going to go down in history for like every time a race is going to look like decided and someone actually has a pretty solid lead, you can just bring up this race because everything is possible and nothing is actually over. Like that race looked probably like the easiest win for Equan and he ended up losing.
Indeed. Let's see if swiftzeii can make the long jump over the city hall here. And
looks good. Looks very good. Not a problem for him. Curbs is about to come up on School Clip here, which is actually a segment that he is holding as the best ever done in the best theoretical timesheet. So let's see if he can replicate that and at least get a one that is almost as quick. Very nice. Timing the right press there onto the scooter and amazing school clip making that almost work instantly.
Okay, let's direct our attention to swiftzeii here. See if he's able to get this 2-cycle here. Hopefully not suffering through 3 cycles of this boss.
Definitely gotta make your shots count. Curbs already talking to the bench friend who is not our friend yet, but right now, as he gives us this moon, we are friends. So, making a friend there in the city. Nice spin throw there. Keeping all of his momentum rolling into the girder here. And about to gather the musicians.
Okay, so it's like getting a little bit of a messy 2-cycle, but still 2 cycles in the boss. Not having to suffer through 3 full cycles there.
Yeah, Curbs on the other screen. Not being able to get the optimal line there with the little pole flick, but keeping this momentum fine enough to make that work. swiftzeii is going to be heading into Day Metro just now. Already getting the drummer on board. And swiftzeii collecting the multi-moon. The city hall is empty, which is actually kind of like a visual bug that tends to happen if you like hit Pauline before you talk to the drummer. Or at least that's what we think, because there's no real explanation, but it doesn't change anything. And Curbs, very nice roll cancel jump there to skip out on that long jump, which that long jump there is actually optimal, but it makes it very hard to buffer a quick spin pound. So nice nice idea to cut that out and still make that movement fast.
Okay, let's see if swiftzeii will get this. Managed to get Sue clipped very clean there.
Curbs approaching the higher level of Day Metro, which is definitely very movement intensive, and every time you do fall here, all you can really do to back this up would be another warp back up top. Curbs does have some crazy strategies for backups there, but let's hope he doesn't require them. And now swiftzeii is already making another bench friend, making Metro happy. Some unfortunate motion control mess-ups there. And to happen, but Curbs actually on some very, very hot Day Metro stuff here, flying through the kingdom, getting these moons very, very quickly. And I'm actually quite interested on this pace here, leaving the kingdom, because this is looking like a very solid run still. Definitely some minor mistakes, especially like in Lost, that very ending and stuff, but still very solid. Ooh, that dive though.
Yeah, I don't think that was very optimal. Having to have a little bit of an awkward backup.
Yeah, looks like he's not going to be getting that sub 30, which is definitely a run that you do want to look towards when you want to aim for that 1:00 time, but a very low 30 time for the fade out on this kingdom.
Yeah, which is very, very impressive, especially for a race.
Still amazing, for sure. swiftzeii already got the drummer on board, just getting the bassist in the team as well. LilKirbs is probably going to be looking at a 30-20 split for the Metro Kingdom, which is definitely still on the very, very solid side as far as these top level runs go. It is probably a nice time to check coin counts for these players. I'm very sure that LilKirbs was completely fine on coins. He's not going to deal with them at all in Snow Kingdom. And we do see that swiftzeii is actually at 93, which almost always tells us that he's going to be good as well, because there's some very quick coins that you can pick up along the way as you go through your Snow Kingdom playthrough.
Yeah, I believe as long as you have above like 85 or so, you should be able to make it work.
Yeah, like 85 is going to make things a little bit tight, but this is still possible without losing too much time. 93 though, super easy.
Yeah, he just has to make sure he's aware that he's not at exactly 100 or higher.
Yeah. Oh, that might cost swiftzeii big time. Actually bonking at the side of the building. That's super unfortunate. He can, however, still... Can he, though? Make that long jump over, and he is going to be able to do that. Very nice reaction on that. But that was so unfortunate. Him not being able to steer that dive into the right direction. Because if you dive in this game, you can not cancel out of the dive. So he was basically forced to land somewhere, but it ended up bonking and almost fell down.
Yeah, it could have been very fortunate if he fell all the way down. That would have been a very big time loss.
So ending up with a backup that he can at least be relieved about. And LilKirbs is already entering Snow. Kind of another cool backup for him. They're almost not getting that moon, but throwing Cappy at the right place to be able to save this with a cap bounce. Oh, swiftzeii not being able to land on top of that trampoline there. Backs it up nicely though. Let's look at LilKirbs getting that quick ground pound moon. No moon clips. It's also not needed in this category.
Yeah, I believe Acrid's the only one that goes for that moon clip currently, right?
Yeah, in like runs. And that moon clip saves maybe if you do it crazy like a second, and the second is nice, but it's not worth to... Like if you're not confident doing it, it is definitely not something you need to do. But as we approach these scarily low times, these things all need to be reconsidered. Like, runners need to think, okay, do I want to get that second? Do I need that second now? Is it time to get that?
Yeah.
swiftzeii actually going to seize that here. I'm not sure if he just wasn't currently completely aware on where he was able to get quick enough coins, or if he just wanted to give it a shot, because we did see some comparisons in the past where swiftzeii didn't lose time at all and actually ended up saving just a little bit of time over the meshing to Snow. But this is, like, as we always say here, meshing is so inconsistent that you can't.
Yeah, it's not really accurate to just base something completely off mashing, as that's very inconsistent.
But that is going to make it so that this race is going to look a little bit interesting and different here, because even though swiftzeii is already through the entirety of Snow, and we will basically see their paces as they both enter the Luncheon Kingdom.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to tell who's ahead, really, till both runners end up in the Luncheon Kingdom.
Exactly. It also make it so that swiftzeii won't have to deal about coins at all. He doesn't have to make any like detour or like cap throw even to get some coins. He is going to be completely good after the underwater section.
Now we should direct our attention to LilKirbs here, as he's going to be buying the moon in the shop and then be setting up for a snow jam. Hopefully he's able to get this trick, as this will be a very big time loss if he misses this.
Yeah, this is something that swiftzeii might be able to capitalize on. However, he did have some issues there, traversing through that kind of fake 3D section. I guess the fake 2D section. Right now he's doing the Rocket Flower Refresh strat, so he's going to be doing a spin throw ground pound before collecting that move. Gets it, and he's going to be making that Rocket Flower basically refresh. LilKirbs, very quick setup here for Snowdome, is going to be able to make this work and gets it.
Oh my god, that setup was super fast. I don't think that was like a full second.
Yeah, that was like instant. And the way this actually works is if you do hold a certain angle on your like control stick and camera stick, all you need to do is actually go into first person, and then if you do hold that angle, the camera will basically align itself perfectly automatically that you have a nice like line to do Snowdome in. But obviously, there is some even crazy ideas going around with people like literally doing this setup list. But
Yeah,
that we might
as we see in the PTT sheet, we are seeing dive wall setup with Snowdrum, which is just insane.
It is something that seems ridiculous, but at some point, if we do consider these time saves, if we do consider these time saves, like 2 seconds is what actually is the time save that does this like dive vault Snowdrum actually gets us, and 2 seconds is so much. Like, just if you imagine, suddenly people would add like that and like another hard strat and that hard strat, and suddenly we got 5 seconds of time save again.
Yeah, that's being a lot of time save now because of how optimized this run is. This run is crazy optimized for it being only a little over a year old.
Absolutely. Obviously, huge community being behind this, looking at strats daily, trying to improve the run. Kirbs not having the best of starts here as far as the seaside goes, bonking at the very start and leaving the kingdom here. However, he still needs to go through the entirety of snow, and Kirbs is going to be heading to luncheon after this. Also, not having as much of an issue here on that moon. So he is comparatively to swiftzeii probably in around the same pace as the seaside goes. Let's see if he's also going to be opting for the flower rocket refresh strat, which looks like he will, but actually not getting a jump after that spin throw. So probably just skipping out on it, not messing with this. Because if you do make a mistake there, suddenly you wouldn't be able to get the entirety of node.
Yeah. The missing notes being a very, very big time loss that you want to try to avoid.
Yeah, right, absolutely. At this point, no refresh threat can save you. Missing notes entirely is very big and very, very costly. But Kirbs saving himself, just skipping out on the strat and still having decently quick movement. Really nice beginning section from swiftzeii here, actually. Very interesting and nicely paced rolls and very optimal way to initiate the top with Toad. But let's see if the rest of this thing is going to work just as fine.
Let's see if he can get this crate moon here right at the beginning of this wall jump moon better than Kirbs did.
Yeah, another potential way for him to save a little bit of time, going for a little bit of a slower strat triple jump as well with double wall jump, but making it work just a little bit quicker.
Now it looks like swiftzeii is also going to be opting to do Snowdrum here, as he's choosing to do the shot moon later, which indicates to us that he's going to be doing Snowdrum.
Yeah, and that makes it so that he is committed to the route now. I guess he could technically get the Wrangle room later on, but that would lose a tremendous amount of time. So basically locked into the Snowdrum route. Let's see if he can make it work first try as well. But yeah, Kirbs looks like Kirbs is already done with, I guess, the mid-game portion of the run. If you don't consider luncheon being mid-game, it is kind of late-game. Things do really get intense. So yeah, definitely very solid lead for him. However, with luncheon and apparently ruined now, because we did see ruined themselves in this tournament now. Between him and the end of this race, there is still something to be had. Like obviously a race to be had.
Okay, it looks like swiftzeii is going to be moving on to the Goomba room here. Hope he's able to get that really clean and not suffer any time loss there.
Yeah. Another tiny instance of RNG, which you actually can't really react to. You want to make it so that, let's see, Kirbs getting the salt triple jump here. That's the first thing I want to focus on. But right now here on the other screen, you see optimally, you actually don't want to have to jump on the Goomba immediately. You want to make it below that ice pillar as fast as possible and then have the Goombas walk towards you so that you can make the jump as early as possible. But it's just a tiny amount of time that you can save with good RNG there.
swiftzeii having a little bit of awkward movement here, but making it work, getting over to the story moon without dying.
Yeah, that's important. As long as he doesn't die, he should still be fairly okay with that. Kirbs already, though, on the Spear fight, and this is still a pretty hot run. I don't want to make any final judgment calls, but this is going to be at least 101 pace. So I'm not saying he's on PB pace or anything, probably not, but he's probably up there, like close or something. Because this one is really good.
Yeah, no big mistakes from him quite yet.
Yeah. We did see another bonk there at the start of season, which definitely loses and hurts more than you'd think. But yeah, we'll check along the run. But now we will focus our eyes on swiftzeii, who is going to be going for Snowdrone right now. So definitely needs to get this trick, hopefully first try, to contest here and still be in it in the case of a bad event for Cubs. But let's see. Setup. Not the most optimal vector I've ever seen, but this looks like he can make it work, and he does so.
Very good that he did not mess that up. Still making sure he's in line to at least be close to Curbs.
And Curbs is already heading towards Perona Plaza, which is the name of that plaza where the pot is cooking up here. Some pretty mechanically intensive movements. Not sure to everyone that actually has checked out the best theoretical time video that was just released yesterday. There's some crazy mechanical stuff that you can do here, especially on the turnip, where you can basically spin pound into the turnip to keep massive momentum. But these are like these little time saves that the best theoretical sheet would go for, but that are not required at all. And now swiftzeii is also entering the stage.
Now let's see if LilKirbs can make the cycle for this lava bubble here.
Looks like he is not going to be opting for any camera manipulation, so he definitely needs to be quick here to make that cycle work. But looks like he will have no issues with that.
And entering into the fourth sub area. Ooh, taking a bomb though for it. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Sub area goes. Curbs used to be one of the very best at it. However, it is worth to mention that this one crazy run that I was talking about earlier, which was like better than the current world record as far as pace goes, actually ended up dying in this room at that second wound. But Curbs is past that now, so he is still on amazing pace, grabbing that second wound, about to head towards the turnip clip.
Okay, using the little bubble to get up those hills very fast there, and making his way on top of this mountain, and grabbing the turnip before he ends up grabbing this moon here. This out for turnip clip. Turnip clip being a shot where you want to use the turnip to put that pan bro in between the turnip in the cage, clipped into the cage.
Very far from. I'm not sure if this will actually end up working. The turnip is very far to the center of the cage, but he still clips in first try. This is what he needed to keep this run on a very hot pace here. Once again, probably the best pace to look at this run as an individual one will be as he... Whoa, swiftzeii, actually, I needed to call that out because that spin throw was so sexy. The one he used there to enter the room, I really loved that. I got distracted there. Yeah. Was about to say that I do want to check out Curbs' pace as he's like finishing up this kingdom, but that was really cool. The way he kept his momentum. But anyways...
Ooh, Curbs almost missing that spin pound happy vault there, but making it work. Ooh, Curbs almost dying there, but he made that work as well.
Ooh, he is saving it up here at the very end. Just barely ending this kingdom here without a major mistake.
Yes, and then moving on to what people would say the hardest kingdom, Ruin Kingdom, as we saw for Ekwon. Dying 3 times there.
Yeah. Definitely the hardest kingdom of the run. Ruin Kingdom incredibly scary. But I doubt that Curbs will have any issues with that. Which makes him clearly the superior runner. No, I'm obviously kidding. But I'm doubting that Curbs will have issues in Ruined. Because arguably you can only really die if you go for crazy or unnecessary stuff, which is probably what Equan did trying to show off.
Yeah, he was doing the strat where you could wall jump outside of the arena, and he tried to do it 3 times in a row and failed it all 3 times.
Yeah, strat in quotes. Nice strat. But anyways, that's just how Equan is as like a player. But oh, swiftzeii getting a bonk in there. Oh, what? Okay, Cappy homing through the stage. So no problems for him here in Fork Room after that little bonk. But yeah, looks like Curbs is leaving lunch near without the worst problems. Without the worst problems.
Now we will see swiftzeii setting up for a turnip clip. Going to be grabbing the turnip on top here. Hopefully not just as clean a turnip clip as Turds did.
Yeah, definitely not as optimal, but once again, mostly like going for that throw is super risky. So it is definitely like I would suggest people to just go for laying the turnip down there because that is still faster than grabbing the cheese. If you just go there and lay the turnip next to the cage.
Yeah, going for a very long throw, definitely being very risky as you can miss it.
Yeah, you can miss the position. Because that's actually something that a lot of people don't know when they try around with this turnip clip initially and try to mess around with it. But you can actually only clip into this cage at the left hand side, like not left hand side, but the left part of the glass. You can go to the right side of the cage, but it still needs to be on the left side of the glass. It's kind of weird how this works, but it is how it is.
Now let's see if swiftzeii can get this moon without dying. As dying here with very big time loss. Ooh, almost dying. Very close.
Oof, the saves here have been phenomenal. This moon is definitely the scary one. If you do fall here at this section, that wow, and swiftzeii is actually falling out. Does he know the backup? It looks like he doesn't. I was about to say you can actually run up that slope on the right, basically having yourself like boosted up by the fire. But since he wasn't aware of that, he's gonna be taking a detour here, going all the way back to that checkpoint from the story room.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate, as that moon being probably one of the harder ones to stay alive for in Moon.
Yeah, swiftzeii definitely being a little bit nervous here at the end of the kingdom, playing it a little bit safer here as he grabs that meat capture. But definitely not the ending he wanted for this king. What can you do? Happens to the best of them.
Both runners being synced were on completely different multi-win cutscenes.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. That's actually so synced. What? Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, swiftzeii winning the race! He got the fade out in there earlier. Sadly, one kingdom previously, though. Well, it doesn't matter for Curbs, who is once again still on a solid run. And I'm actually going to be able to tell you how this run is looking exactly. I am not completely sure anymore on the race world record right now, which I think would be a 101, like 30 something. Maybe I actually missed the recent race world record. That's something we should definitely keep track of better. At least I'm not sure. Do you know, James? Do you know about the? Yeah.
No, I don't know either, unfortunately.
Because this run is looking to be on like 101 to 2x pace, like a high 2x, or maybe like a low 3x. So potentially literally race world record pace with like as far as my information goes, but looking very, very hot.
Yeah, no big mistake here, and hopefully he can finish this out without making any big mistakes.
We will see about that. Obviously, Bowser's still between him and the end of this. Scary Kingdom as well, with Meg being at the very end, waiting with potential big time losses.
Yeah, if you don't know how to back up mech, you can definitely lose like upwards of like minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, climbing can be tough. You can actually end up, as soon as you mess up the climb, suddenly the possibility of a death gets way higher, especially as you start taking damage like at the first phase.
Yeah. So hopefully it does not happen to either runners here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nicely done by Curbs here with the first story moon. He is going to be heading over to Shards.
Shards definitely being a very difficult section, just for movement. if you want to try to get this optimally.
Yeah, for movement, it's I do say that all the time, arguably the hardest part of the kingdom, but it is a very nice section that you can easily. Sometimes I'm just getting stunned and like silenced by these runners, because even though I'm super familiar with all the fast threads of just making this like best theoretical timesheet, that roll cancel jump that Curbs did, they looked crazy. Like the amount of momentum he was able to keep off of that was super optimal. But very, very solid shots. swiftzeii actually own HP here at the very end. Usually you can make it so that you have another extra health to be safe from these little spiny, fuzzy attacking creatures, but he is not going to be taking a death here, getting that ground pound into the dragon's head.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh no! Oh my god, that was a ridiculous save.
Yeah, so his cap was actually in the right position, and he dove off, but since his cap was in the right position to go for that capture warp straight, he was able to save himself and still making it work at the end there. Nicely done by Curbs.
That was definitely good reaction time and good thinking by him. Yeah.
Absolutely, because once again, this would have been one of these examples where you, like Mario is diving, and I told you earlier, how diving basically makes so that you cannot cancel out of that at all. You are like it's up to your fate what happens to you, but he just had that fortunate happening that Cappy was hovering close to that electric wire, so he could save himself.
No, I'm not doing any first-person shots here for the Harriet fight, playing it safe.
Yeah. And looks like Curbs doesn't need these little special thingies, because this is something that he's been continuously showing now, and he's not currently going for any like leg clip ideas and any first person ideas and whatever. There's so many things that he could potentially go for, but he's just so good at the regular stuff that he doesn't need to care about that right now. swiftzeii now starting up Bowser's. Let's see if his journey through the kingdom will be just as comfy, because definitely for Curbs this has been quite the comfy ride up until that very intense save. But yeah. swiftzeii, early bonk.
Taking a bonk. Failing this again. Very unfortunate, not knowing how to make this work. Taking a third bonk.
This wall is definitely mad.
Yeah, not getting lucky with this wall at all.
That's not the end of the world. He is still off as far as the completion of this kingdom goes, and even though Curbs has already fought the bunnies, there's arguably the hardest section of that kingdom coming up for Curbs right now.
Let's see if Curbs is able to get this crate in here without dying. This crate move being very difficult to do optimally.
Yeah, let's see if the death skip is going to be happening, and looks like he is going to be making that work. Very fast movement as well, keeping his momentum through those crates.
Now he has to go for a very scary long hit here, as the camera does not want to cooperate whatsoever, but making it work.
Yeah, nicely done. Getting the Pokio, and now it's going to be up to the climb here. Very, very solid strat here, basically using the side of that wall to get some extra momentum in.
As walking with this Pokio is very slow. This Pokio does not move very fast when it's walking at all.
And let's look at swiftzeii charts as well, because he's about to finish those up. Not getting that chart immediately. So now it's time to go back to LilKirbs. So many things happening at the same time here at Bowser's Kingdom. Let's see if he can make that mech work. Very, very quick backflip, but maybe even too quick. Still making it work. Not falling down, getting that first hit. All he needs to do now is basically get close to Topper, get knocked back, spin pound again, and this is as far as the first phase of the mech goes. That's it.
Now I'm interested to see if he's going to be going for any Harriet third or target acquired strats here.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you that he will, because even though actually I myself came up with the name target acquired, the strat behind it was actually found by LilKirbs. So if anyone, he's probably going to be going for it, and let's see if he gets it as well. That looked a little bit far away, but it's probably something he's aware of, and nice spin pound too, getting that strat very nicely.
Curbs moving on to the final kingdom, Moon Kingdom. And swiftzeii moving on to the Harriet boss fight here. opting to not do any first-person strategies or just playing the fight safe.
Yeah. Absolutely respectable. And Curbs just grabbed that final multi-moon of the run. It's gonna sit through around 1.5 minutes of cutscenes after this moon, which actually after this grand moon, which is actually kind of crazy. Like until you start playing again in Moon Kingdom, it's even like it's like 90 seconds. But I guess it gives you some time to unwind. You still have to capture the globe, which is obviously not as intense. But also you can take a little breather and prepare for that final section.
Yeah, and these cutscenes being the main reason why we haven't seen a sub-hour Odyssey run yet, as these cutscenes take up a half hour of the run, I believe.
Yeah, there's some stuff out there on YouTube that basically just cuts out the cutscenes out of like a world record. And it's like 27 minutes of gameplay or something. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, a lot of this run made cutscenes, unfortunately.
Just the moon cutscenes alone. Like obviously every moon cutscene takes around 3.5 seconds. And it's not like we get 124 because we get some grand moons. Obviously they have even longer cutscenes. But yeah, just these moons, man. So much time just sitting there. But I guess the game would be very hard to play if you wouldn't have these moon cutscenes between the movement sections.
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to see like if someone made a mod where all the moons are already collected upon starting a new file. That'd be a very interesting run to see.
Non-stop any percent? Soon
Yeah.
TM? Imagine. I mean, it would probably be fun, but we see about that. Obviously, not there yet as far as this game goes. But for now, we will be seeing Curbs going for some moon vectors. Nicely done. Getting that momentum in there from the moon gravity. Let's see if he's also going to be able to pick up both of the rocket flowers.
Getting both. Moving on to a shot we like to call Moon Cave Skip here. Skipping the entire Moon Cave by ground pounding on the Sphinx's head and then doing 2 wall jumps on this wall here. Very specific on where they have to be. And this trick saves about 5 minutes because we're skipping the entirety of the Moon Cave.
Yeah. Literally the single most time-saving trick in the run. There is nothing that saves more time in this. So yeah, like obviously even something like not getting the klepto trigger saves like a minute, but this one is the biggest time save in the run. Curbs making it work immediately. swiftzeii just entering, going for a nice backflip climb as Curbs is about to start up the first phase of Bowser. 2 boss fights at the same time. Once again, are we gonna be? Oh no, are we obviously not gonna be seeing the identical multi-moon grab because Bowser is not gonna be giving us any multi-moons.
Yeah, Bowser's not giving him ultimate here. You actually don't grab any moons. Ooh, swiftzeii actually getting the Mecha Brutal clip and falling right through him.
Sometimes you just have one of these races. I mean, swiftzeii definitely not happy with some of the events happening earlier, but this just gets the cherry, gives you the cherry on the very top. Sometimes, only 1 HP as well. Sometimes you cannot really do much, and the mech is still gonna throw you off. Like even if you don't move, I've seen that happen to Chaos on like record pace. Maybe you're just not standing at the optimal spot, but it still feels unfair.
Yeah, I believe there's a spot right next to his head where you can just clip right through him, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Kind of a tough call there, but let's see if swiftzeii is going to be able to make it back up top, which would be very beneficial for him because he is only eventually delaying his dive nicely, so he is going to be able to defeat the mech without a death.
Yeah, taking a death there would be very unfortunate if you have to redo the entire fight.
Absolutely.
Now, LilKirbs moving into the escape sequence. Probably one of the scariest parts, as we have a trick we like to call 2D skip here. Saving 2 seconds, but losing a full minute if you die.
Yeah, this is ridiculous pace for this run. Like once again, this could potentially just technically, which I'm not assuming, could 101-1, which would need like a crazy escape section, but it is possible. And I just it was brought to my attention that apparently the current race record is a 101.22 by Stravos, and it might be hard to beat that, but he's probably going to become very close.
Yeah, that's just being a very good run to LilKirbs, making almost no big mistakes at all.
Yeah. Like, it's just tiny mistakes. That bonk at the start of Seaside, some stuff in the very early game. Like, tiny things, but still crazy run so far.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's able to play that close to his PB in a race.
Dude, that jump there might have cost him the race world record. And unfortunately, it's not. It looks like Kirbs is gonna get the sub-hour here. 0 seconds on the timer, 20 seconds coming into the film. This crazy pace. But looks like we just had some timer like cropping issues there. This is not gonna be sub-hour, boys. I'm sorry, but yeah. This is currently at 1:30 pace entering this room, which makes it so that it's probably not going to be a race world record, but probably still looking at that 1:01:30-ish, which is crazy for a race.
Yeah, absolutely insane. This pillar's room being very clean for him, so we'll see. It might be better than we think.
Yeah, this is a... Whoa, this is actually a crazy pillar room. This is probably just barely gonna come in behind Stravos' time here. So I'm probably gonna be looking at like a 23 as far as I've seen it. And actually, maybe not. This might be better. This might be 21 as well. Wait, is it even better? What was that split? What?
I think that was actually like a 19 or 20 if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, but I think like Kirbs' timer might also not be perfectly synced with his gameplay, so if he just split in time, that actually is the race world record there. And this pillar boom was crazy. That was so much quicker than I expected going into it.
Definitely focusing up because he knew he was on some crazy pace.
swiftzeii missing mood skip there, but Kirbs, yeah, Kirbs, if his timer is accurate there, and this is probably something that if someone cares enough about could be retimed, but as far as we know, this should be the official, at least tournament record as far as I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we ever end up with a time in the 100s in the tournament.
If anywhere, probably here in this tournament, we have these runners on this caliber here. If Equan doesn't decide to jump off the cliff in Ruin, and if Chaos is actually playing on this high... Like, Chaos has such high potential to just get a 1-0 in a race. But we'll see. Time will tell. For now, looks like Kirbs ending that race with the best time yet. As swiftzeii is just finishing up here, starting the Bowser fight. But Kirbs is going to be advancing into the round 3 of the winner break and basically the quarters. As... No, is it actually semis? I'm actually not completely sure. Like, is it winner semis? I guess so. It is like quarters overall, but winner semis? Like, there's only going to be 4 winners, right? I think so.
We'll have to see. I'm not quite sure either.
It might also be 8. I'm not completely sure.
LilKirbs just looking at the code they're clapping. Look how happy he is.
Yeah. Yay, Toad! That's our boy. He's always so happy. Obviously, if you guys do own the Speedrun wave, it is time to throw it up right now. Oh. But yeah, Kirbs taking that win, advancing. Looks like he is potentially gonna come in here soon for some post-race thoughts. But for now, we are gonna be focusing on swiftzeii finishing up here, just in the last phase of our run.
Yeah, killing Bowser here. Not too many issues. Heading into the escape sequence. Looking like he's going to be getting around a 106, I believe.
Yeah, sounds about right. It is technically still possible for him to get a 105, but it would require some crazy escape and pillar movement. So we'll see about that. Shouldn't matter much to him, since obviously his PB is quite a bit better. But sometimes in these races, even if things go south, you still want to get that specific time. Let's see what he'll end up with. And obviously, not the worst showing it out from swiftzeii. It was just obviously that Kirbs' run was pretty ridiculous. Once again, potentially being at that race world record like situation. And then swiftzeii having to deal with some unfortunate stuff.
Yeah, very hard to compete with the time that LilKirbs just got there. Oh, unfortunately, dying on 2D skip.
Yeah, that just puts the cherry on top once again. And this is just how these runs play out. If things start going south, you start doing more mistakes. But not the end of the world. It can still happen. We can be kind of glad that this is not happening on like a very high potential, a crazy run, because it has been a while since we've seen a runner actually die to that jump.
Yeah, on good pace. The most famous one I can remember is I remember seeing a video of Smollett dying to that on incredible PB pace.
Yeah. Very, very sad. But looks like this might be swiftzeii actually not feeling like going for it again. Looks like he's just gonna be. He just wants to get out of there. He wants to be done with this race, kind of reset, which I can absolutely respect.
Yeah, just wants to get this race over with. Hopefully he can get a good pillars room and still manage to get maybe a 1 of 7 at this rate.
Yeah. Might be possible. However, it's very up to these pillars. Sometimes pillars go bad and take more than a minute, but usually you should be able to make that. Nice shots. But he's probably gonna be getting that early pillar
in the early pillar. Moving on to this pillar, this is one of the pillars that you're going to have to claw. There are, I believe, 2 pillars you have to claw, and the other 2 you use fireballs for.
Yeah. And we did see there's some crazy strats where you could even shoot a little more fireballs to weaken them. But this is not required right now. It looks like swiftzeii is going to be spanning down that last pillar here with some quick shots. And about to throw him into the moon core block. About to finish here up with potentially, as we said, still a 1-0.
Not being too bad of a time at all. It's just that Curves, like we said, got an incredible run.
Having a really good run on his own, literally taking the best race as my internet is dying. Okay, I think I'm not roboting anymore. It at least looks like it. So let's see if we will be having these guys in for some polls. We already got LilKirbs joining in swiftzeii just immediately behind him. So let me actually start off with Kirbs, because obviously ending up getting that win, and on our timer here actually getting the race world record. So what do you think about this run? swiftzeii just immediately behind him. So
overall, it was a consistent run. I had a lot of fun. No major mistakes, which is probably why I got this time. But I was happy that I didn't get like tilted or anything by some of the minor mistakes. Or like the early game wasn't too good, but I still kept going. So it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I can obviously see that like something like that start in Seaside, especially if something happens like at the very start. I hate that, especially that first jump in Seaside. If that goes, and I think you even got like one of these Valu dives where you just miss your cap, and that really can sometimes just like destroy your focus and you get mad. But it looks like it didn't hold you back of still getting a very solid time.
No, so yeah, say, how do you... Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how do you feel about your run?
I had a lot of bad luck with this run. Like, I took like a 2-week break from this game, and I'm really rusty right now, and you know, probably should have practiced a lot more. I don't know. I just had a lot of bad luck with this run. I didn't expect to get this many mistakes.
Well, on the other hand, I brought up earlier that's obviously actually let's start with the early game, because that stuff was super close. You guys basically came out of on String Summit like the same time, showing us like a single clip, double clip comparison. And then once again, as soon as these things start happening, like later on, even like the 2D and the mech, this is just where things go south and you can't really care that much anymore, because it just feels unlucky and it just feels too much to deal with. Obviously also that bonk at that the wooded tower there being super like stressful to deal with. I still think you dealt well with the situation well enough, still just ending the run here. And it's obviously not going to be the complete end for you, since this is a double elimination tournament, so you will have another shot as far as advancing goes in that bracket. But yeah, other than that, GG Curbs on the win, getting that next spot in, advancing through the tournament is going to be pretty highly stacked up there. I'm not sure if you know who is your next opponent yet. We'll obviously check that. If you guys want to check that as well, you can type an ! bracket to check for yourself. swiftzeii, thanks for the race appearance as well. You are also going to be seen here at the next game in the loser bracket, and potentially showing even more potential to get back up and prove yourself. Also, Cheese James, thank you for the call commentary. Was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun commentating with you.
Yeah. And lastly, I do want to quickly shout out Vi, our sponsor here. If you want to check them out, do so in the panel below through the referral link. It's a betting site. You can bet on your favorite speedrunners. You obviously do want to make sure that you have reached the legal age to be able to bet, and that it's actually available and legal in your country. A quick shout out to them making that possible. But other than that, it's going to be another intermission time here, and we will be back with more action soon.
Have a good rest of your day, guys.